week, the indictment of former President Donald Trump. He was in court Thursday pleading not guilty to 4 charges related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. 3 of those 4 counts are conspiracy charges: conspiracy to defraud the United States, to obstruct an official proceeding on January 6th, and to violate the rights of American voters. Prosecutors say Trump and 6 co-conspirators knowingly pushed false claims of election fraud to, quote, create an intense atmosphere of mistrust and anger, and that Trump exploited the violence and chaos of the Capitol attack, continuing to pressure congressional Republicans all the way up to the former vice president, and resisted pleas to call off his supporters. His next hearing is set for August 28th before Obama appointee Judge Tanya Chutkan here at the D.C. federal courthouse. Meantime, special counsel Jack Smith put a lot of detail into this 45-page indictment, claiming former President Trump was, quote, determined to remain in power. Prosecutors say Trump's targeted the heart of American democracy, a bedrock function of the United States federal government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying results of the presidential election. Smith said his office will ask for a speedy trial on these serious charges.
Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day. This case is brought consistent with that commitment, and our investigation of other individuals continues. The attack on our nation's Capitol on January 6, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies.
Judge Chutkan, who was randomly assigned to the case, has sentenced at least 38 individuals in relation to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. And the former president himself has had a lot to say about all of this. Take a listen.
When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much, everyone.
True to form, he also sent out a fundraising email that reads, quote, with Crooked Joe's corrupt DOJ having unlawfully indicted yours truly yet again, reports indicate that I could now face a combined 561 years in prison from the left's witch hunts. The former president has said all along he's done nothing wrong and calls the investigations election interference. So what's the legal strategy for both sides in this case? The burden of proof is on the government. They have assumed this burden to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. The former president doesn't have to say a word in his defense or prove anything. So will he take the stand?
Won't be good for him, because the prosecution will have a chance to cross-examine him. And the more Donald Trump talks about these cases and talks about the prosecution and the alleged Biden crime family, which I find completely ironic, as long as they keeps talking about that on the campaign trail, those are party admissions that can be used against him, whether he takes the stand or not. But if he takes the stand, he's going to be subject to some withering cross-examination.
Bolden says part of the defense counsel's job will be to decide if the government's case is strong enough to help them identify whether Trump should take the stand or if they should keep him off it.